need it right
he's
now.
watching a guy.
Oh God. No.
I need it right
Oh
now.
shit.
Okay. Can you see this? Okay, give it to me now. Give it to me.
What the hell?
Come on, Mark.
What are we
Don't be
watching?
stingy.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark.
I'm really grateful. You know, it's interesting when you reach out to people. Like, I think that maybe people don't have any idea how much rejection that I've faced. And what was really cool is when I got an opportunity to talk to him after his show, we were just going back and forth. And I was like, when do you leave? He's like, well, I'm probably going to leave like late afternoon tomorrow. I was like, all right, well, I'll see you at the gym tomorrow. We were dragging the sled, but when I looked into his eyes, I saw like drive and determination, that Josh Settlegate look, right?
Yep.
I saw that in his eyes, and I was like kind of taken back by it for a second, because I was like, oh, he's like rising to the challenge. He's like into it.
I've seen you do that to a lot of people, and I just think for someone like him, like I said, just to be at that level, to still get that like, oh, moment from you, I think it's just like special. Nsima?
Are you farting?
I'm like, what's going on over there?
I'm not farting.
Are you sure?
Oh, dude.
Oh man.
Nah, dude.
Get the
He just left. They were really harping and laughing because they were just like, yeah, Bert Kreischer, be less fat. Like, that's a shirt. I want to buy it right now. But what does it mean when you're telling people to be less fat?
As we talk about being less fat, these guys are chowing on. These things are amazing. The legendary tasty pastries, 20 grams of protein.
245 was my wake up weight, and my wake up weight today was 255.
Damn, bro.
I'm gonna get myself like I will literally. My weight's gonna be back at 245 in about 2 days. But I had so much sodium. This isn't something that happens often, yo.
That's so good.
And this doesn't feed into. I don't eat whatever I want either. But we still do eat for taste. That's the thing. It's like
That's true. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like
We ain't pussy.
aren't exactly good. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I
Can I
worded
say it out loud?
Yeah. Have you done one of the 10,000 calorie challenges?
I could kill it.
That's what I'm saying. I think you should.
Won't. No.
You should.
That would You see, I'd have like.
He could do 100,000 calories
I think
in a day.
so.
That just sounds reasonable. So, like, what are some things that you can adopt into your life? What are some things that Bert Kreischer can maybe adopt into his life that are reasonable? Like, is it reasonable for him to spend 4 hours in the gym every day, and for him to have a trainer, and for him to, you know, have this kind of Rocky montage of him just training all the time and eating, you know, really strict and eating like a bodybuilder? Probably not.
Yeah.
That's okay. But he doesn't need to do that.
When you are known to be the life of the party, whenever you go to the party, people are expecting you to perform.
I think.
And if you're single, just buy a fleshlight, but keep on.
No, just we went back to.
I'm gonna celebrate with his flashlight.
But don't do it to porn.
Our project family, how's it going? Now, as you guys know, we have been talking about cold therapy for a while. Mark, Andrew, and myself, we all use cold plunge XLs since we're pretty big. But the cold plunge is amazing. And there are a lot of cold therapy tools out there. Obviously, you can use your shower. But the amazing thing about the cold plunge is, number one, it doesn't take up much space in your home or your backyard. And number two, you don't need to change your water, unlike other cold therapy devices, for 6 months to a year. It filters itself. Let's not even talk about all the benefits of cold plunging, like the dopamine release, how good you feel after doing it, and just the cascade of hormones that happens after you get in some really cold water. It's crazy, and we love it. So, Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. You guys got to head over to thecoldplunge.com, and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save $150 off your very own cold plunge. Again, thecoldplunge.com, links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. You guys want to start there?
What?
You just get the podcast rolling?
Get it rolling.
Yeah, just our disdain for Android PCs, all that.
That's the master race, bro.
I know, but
It's a battle.
Android master race.
they would respond, but right now their computer stopped working.
Yo.
Okay.
About to take a quick half pop.
Oh, I thought you were going to say poop.
Yeah, no, just half pop of the drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on this table. Coming. Oh, Lord.
Why the? Oh my
I
God.
can stop whenever I want.
I can stop whenever I want. I'm not
I don't have a
addicted.
problem. What are you talking
about? No.
Jesus Christ.
As
I
I
don't
dunk
have a
my
problem.
third potion of
Yeah.
the day.
No. I mean, once I get through the case that I have, then maybe.
I can slow down after that.
I mean, there's probably not a reason for me to stop.
Yeah, dude, whenever I want. I've done it before. Years ago. I don't need to do it again.
Look how successful you guys are. by taking 3-4 potions a day.
Okay, you know what? You know how bad it is to joke. Any of y'all?
Says the guy that jokes too much.
Yeah, and I love to joke, but I don't like to joke when it actually could cause bad things. So,
Yeah.
guys, this potion's good.
Drink
Just
responsibly.
Very strong.
It's strong. So if you do one. Don't do multiple in a day.
Don't even do a full one. How about that?
Honestly, we've had so many guests that have come on that we've given potions to, and they've been fine. You're the only guy that's thrown up after.
There's somebody else that got sick.
I don't know anyone else.
Listen, if
do.
I can give a recommendation, if you're going to take some Mind Bullet, make sure you periodically mix in your mushrooms and LSD here and there as well.
Right.
That's
That
true.
way you're not overloaded on any one drug.
Exactly.
The whole pyramid. You know, you can't just do like the one thing that you like. Like you got to be whole.
Maybe throwing a little
Holistic.
weed every once in a while. I mean, come on.
What would the pyramid of psychedelics be? That's a curiosity. I think weed would probably be at the base since people smoke so much weed.
But should they be? Right? Because like the base of
I
the
haven't
food
done it.
pyramid maybe shouldn't be bread or
I
whatever the
haven't-
fuck it is.
I haven't done enough of them to know. Like, I hear ecstasy is like pretty awesome. Have you
I
ever done
need
that?
to try it. I haven't.
I've
I
heard
haven't.
such good
A
things
lot of good
about
things.
it.
hmm
I've heard good things, man.
Never tried it either.
I wish I did ecstasy when I was single.
It sounds
I really wish I did. I could still do it now.
You'll probably have more fun now, to be honest.
crystal meth's supposed to be good, like sexual experience as well.
Are you serious? Are you
Yeah.
kidding? What? Wait, what story did you
Well-
hear about crystal meth? What are you talking about?
It's supposed to be great, like for sex. I don't know
Why?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
But wait, whoa, okay. But the person that was like, "Hey, Mark,
Hold on.
crystal meth is
No.
great for sex." What was their
Crystal meth.
reasoning?
Well,
good.
well, first of all, I know that people get naked when they're on crystal meth a lot of
the
times.
crazy fucks. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. I think maybe like ecstasy, maybe it makes you want to fuck. I don't know. I'm not sure. There's some really weird shit that happens with crystal meth. I've heard of people trying to something happens with water and something happens with like your reflection. People tend to hurt
Ooh.
themselves a lot. Like they break glass a lot because they see their own reflection or something weird. And then somebody tried to like crawl themselves like through like a drain in their shower. I don't mean to laugh about it because it's a horrible addiction to have, but at the same time it makes you like it makes you lose your shit pretty bad, it seems like. But it could be good for sex. I don't know.
All these things in moderation. Not meth though. That's something. See, okay, I'll never fuck with meth. I'll never fuck with cocaine. That's something I still have never done. I don't plan on it because we talked about it.
Yeah.
Feeling like Superman's never good. This shit, you feel a little happy. You feel a little bit more conversational. Weed gets you a little bit creative.
I don't really want something that's going to make me like way more confident. You know what I mean? Like maybe just a touch, maybe just like a little bit from like a drink or something like that, like a shot or something. That's plenty. Like I already have plenty of confidence. Like I don't need like cocaine make me think I could like beat somebody up or something crazy. Like I don't need any more confidence with shit like that.
I feel like that shit is just gonna break a marriage. I feel like
Oh yeah, that too.
you're already where you are, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, when you're on coke,
Make
you're
me
like,
malfunction.
I can do everything, and then you just do something
Turn
that
into
implodes your whole life.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. You guys still messing with the breath work? I've been doing that shit on a regular basis that we learned from Justin Lovato. I've been
Digging it?
Dude, I've been having some really cool experiences. The most recent one, I was explaining to Justin. I was like, I was from the perspective of two people looking at a what the fuck is it called when you look at a baby? What the hell is it? X-ray? Not X-ray. Ultrasound.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. Looking at an ultrasound, but that ultrasound was me. So I was like, holy shit, dude. Am I looking at like what my parents saw? And he's like, yeah, you're probably being reborn right now. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like it
And
was
by the way,
fucking
guys,
wild.
none of this that Andrew's saying is drug induced. We
No,
had an
no.
episode with this guy Justin Lovato, and he took us through like an hour breath work, which is what Andrew's doing.
And
So,
then just like the way things go, like he was talking about like you can manifest things in this like spirit realm or whatever. Normally I'm falling backwards through these pillars or like a spiral. It's just kind of like how I get to where the hell I'm at. This time, or not this time, but one of the times I was like, fuck that. I'm going to run through it. And I started going through the tunnel instead of it like me falling backwards. But I was running through it.
Shit.
And then I realized, holy shit, I'm running in no pain. And I'm like, let me see what I could do. And I started like doing like agility work, like going side to side and like having a blast. I imagined that I dunked a basketball. But then shortly after that, that's when I told Mark, I was just like, dude, I think I want to come here and run with you. And like, what did we do today?
We ran today.
We went and fucking ran. So I'm like, holy shit, this stuff's working. It was fucking awesome.
We didn't even walk that much. We did a walk run and we
I
ran.
was hoping we would walk more. But
Yeah, we ran. We ran. I mean, we ran a
You
good
ran
amount.
well.
We
Well,
did-
You
you
didn't
did
seem
great.
like you kept
Thank you.
behind at all. Like you were fine.
The second to last stretch so like the way we did it, Mark started, stopped, I started, stopped, Nsima started, stopped. When you started, we went for a long time. I was like, holy shit, like I gotta just keep going. And then the last stretch was pretty cool because Mark started coaching me up a little bit. But yeah, it felt good. I was telling Mark, like I feel like mechanics or whatever you want to call it, like I'm not too far away from where I should be. I'm like, but my gas tank runs out like instantly.
That's just not a lot of practice.
Right. Yeah.
We need
absolutely.
we need some practice.
Talk
And
about practice.
once you get that in there, you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are curious, Mark's been getting into a lot of running, so we've all started just getting into running. I think it's going to be cool in a few months when we're all just running that lap pretty leisurely. I think that's possible for all of us right now. Like we just walked it fairly easily at a decent pace. In a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months, I think all of us, you, and me, we're going to be running that whole thing and talking and being pretty chill about it.
Yeah, Graham running next to us was like, dude, he talks throughout this whole thing too. Like he doesn't stop talking, does he? Like even when we're running.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in pretty good shape. What's our question from the Discord? We got a question that
Discord?
came in, right?
I didn't send
I
it to
can
you
pull it
because I lost my phone.
I'll pull it
Can't
up.
find
yeah.
my phone
Isn't it crazy that
You should
it
check
just
that out.
happens that I'm not the guy who lost something?
because you also have the thingy where you push a button and it turns on.
Do you guys have any? No, you're right. I have the Apple tags. I put that in my wallet and on my keys because I lose everything.
And then this morning I went to the bathroom and under the fucking toilet paper was Nsima's keys.
I would have found it
You
because
would
I have
have.
it tagged.
Or you wouldn't have.
Or I wouldn't have. You're right. All right. So this question comes from the Discord. And by the way, guys, told y'all, go into the link below. We have almost about 1,700 people in the Discord. So we'll answer questions here and there. And some people in the Discord get some cool deals from our sponsors.
We're helping a lot of people, a lot of things, but one of the big ones is we're helping people be less fat.
There you go.
That's one thing.
We'll talk about that soon.
Do you guys have any advice for a 21-year-old? Been working out for like 5 months. I lost 22 pounds. Congratulations, Rakeem, so far, but I feel like my routine isn't very organized. I was doing 1 or 2 body parts a day, then spoke with some friends and they said I should be doing full body 3 times a week. But I'm not even sure as of late if I've been going and just following that same friend's routine, but he keeps changing it because he doesn't feel like it's his best. So I feel a little lost in terms of making a routine, finding out what works because I would like to add knees over toes stuff to my routine, but I'm not sure how to fit that into the basic movements like bench, squat, deadlift, etc.
I think he's in a tough spot. He's got to like tell his friend that he's off the team.
I think we've also confused him a lot because of all the things that we are doing and all the people we've brought in. So it's like, how do I do Goda, knees over toes, bodybuilding, and powerlifting?
Yeah, and you can just take small subsets of some of those things that you feel are going to be helpful to you. Like maybe to warm up, maybe you drag the sled. Then maybe once you drag the sled forward and backward a bit and you're warm, maybe you do a little bit of the, maybe you do HTT split squat and you follow that up with some deadlifts. You know, like you start to utilize and incorporate a lot of these things. And maybe before you got started with any of that, maybe that's where you might do some of the myofascial release and some of that stuff that we've been talking about.
You know, the wild thing is when it comes to bodybuilding and even powerlifting programming, the programming aspect of it is so easy to be able to have somebody to progress that there are so many different options for good programs out there that you can follow consistently. They're all a lot of the same shit. Stuff from like Jeff Nippard, stuff from Coach Eugene Teo, who we had here, Renaissance Periodization, which is Mike Israel's company. Honestly, you pick your favorite bodybuilding person who's made a program. Their program is going to look similar to a lot of other programs out there because people within that space generally train a lot of the same way. So even though somebody says, "Oh, this is the best lower push pull program you could do," more likely than not, their lower push program looks very similar to another bodybuilder's lower push pull program. And I'm not saying this to say that that's a bad thing. I'm saying this to say that there's kind of a hard ways to go wrong and that you should just pick somebody you like, do their program and stick with it. Now on the other side of things where you're like, okay, you want to start adding some knees over toes stuff in and you want to start adding some other stuff in from people we talk about, I would say pick your favorite bodybuilder's program, the person you like who's made a program, pick their program, and then go and find some of Ben's stuff. You don't have to go buy his ATG thing, even though it is pretty inexpensive if you do want to get his resource for his.
He's got a book and stuff too.
He's got a book with all of the movements in there explained pretty well, so you can grab the book. And I think that's a great idea if you want to just take some, because what you can do is you can then take some of those movements and add it into any program you're currently doing. And so you can have kind of a hybrid and you can build your own thing out that way. And that's a very simple way to do it. But the first thing is find somebody's program you like and stick with it. Don't change and program hop all the time, because to make progress, you got to stick with something for a decent period of time. And then with this ATG stuff, you can literally go on YouTube and Ben's YouTube channel. He has so many tutorials on so many movements. So you can do that. But if you want it systematized for you, just pay a few extra dollars so that you can see how he does it and then add it into your current program.
Yeah, the Mind Pump guys, their programs come to mind too. They have a bunch of stuff, but
That's good stuff too.
I remember like when I first started and I first started following a program, I remember one day it called for like deadlifts, it called for RDLs, it called for back extensions, and it called for like a bunch of shit just killing my back, right? Especially a back that was already in pain back then. But I just remember it destroyed me. So, and I've heard you say this, Mark, where like sometimes a coach will program something. This is a coach, not necessarily a program, where it's like almost expected that the person you doing it's probably not going to follow it to a T. But what are some like, I don't know, like pitfalls or something that should maybe be like people should be cautious when it comes to following a plan exactly?
I would say like, you know, first of all, the guy that asked the question in the Discord didn't really explain his goal. So that kind of leaves us like a little empty on like how to steer you. You know, we can't hit a target.
It sounds like he's trying to get bigger.
Yeah.
Like from what his buddy's doing. Like, he's just
Yeah.
trying to get some
But did he
muscle.
say he lost like a couple pounds already?
Yeah.
He's losing fat, gaining muscle. Like that's
right.
Yeah.
So on the other side of this is like, if you're mainly like, if you're lifting to just be jacked and to like lose some body weight, I don't know how scheduled of a program you really need. Now, I would say that, and I said this many times before, that all people respond really well to a schedule.
Yes.
Respond really well to knowing I'm going to lift at 8 a.m. every day. This is the time that I do it. And getting into that routine is really important, just like it's important to have a routine to go to bed. It's important to know when and where you're going to eat and where your food's going to come from. Like if a lot of people listening right now, especially those that have come over from the Two Bears, One Cave podcast, and they want to hear more about being less fat. If you just simply scheduled your meals, when are you going to eat? What are you going to eat? If you did that every day for a handful of weeks, I think you would have a lot more success than with whatever it is that you have going on currently, because you're probably just kind of winging it. Now, fortunately for us, though, when it comes to the gym, if you're newer to the gym, you don't have a lot of gym experience, you haven't been like lifting for 5 years or so. Now, if you have been lifting for 5 years, the cool thing about that is you have the knowledge to continue to make progress anyway. But if you're newer to lifting, you could literally go in the gym and you can do what I like to call dicking around. And you can have a good time with it. You can mess around with different exercises. Now, there's certain ways to do certain movements with a squat, a bench, deadlift, to where you can snap your shit up. So you got to be careful. And you have to learn how to lift. And Nsima mentioned a lot of great programs, and they're going to give you in-depth details on the exercises, how to execute the exercises. 5-3-1 comes to mind. But, but like we don't really need like a real system. Now, if I'm trying to be faster on the track because I'm a 100-meter sprinter, and I want to, increase my velocity, and I want to be stronger for football, or I want to, I want to bench press more weight. Well, that's where it's like, all right, dude, well, you already benched 315. Like, that's pretty strong. Now you need now you need like a system. But if you're just going in there trying to make your arms bigger, there's some really simple principles. We need like time under tension. We need to do maybe 2 to 3 different exercises per body part. We need approximately 9 sets. Like, these are all things that we've heard of. These are all things that have been around for a while. And again, if you're newer, you might not need that much stimulus. So you messing around and doing like 1 or 2 sets of lateral raises, it might not matter that much. Like, your shoulders might get bigger just because you're kind of haphazardly doing that. And I think that's one of the reasons why for the 3 of us, even though the show's been really successful, we haven't sold a program. And it might be the reason why we may never sell one, because I think that we enjoy the gym and we want to keep it that way. I know for myself, if I start to follow something too strictly, there's just too many rules and too much shit going on. And I kind of get disinterested. So have fun in the gym. If you really are lost and don't know what to do or follow, as this guy's kind of mentioning, then maybe it would be good to look at a program.
And you know what? There is this though. Like when I was focused on bodybuilding, because I competed back in 2015, and that was when I was like super focused on primarily just bodybuilding and powerlifting. Making my program was very helpful for me, because like even though like I knew, okay, these are the sets and reps that I need, it was necessary, and I think it's necessary for most people at the beginning, because you have structure. Like if I didn't have structure, then it would have been hard for me to make progress, because I wouldn't know where to progress from, how things were actually moving. There wouldn't be a structured way I was progressing. I couldn't necessarily see it. So that's where it's super helpful, because like for us now, we've been training for so long. You've been training for over 2 decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over 2 decades. Yeah. I've been training for 16 years.
Yeah, you might get distracted and not get the work in that you actually needed.
Exactly. Like, but I look at it like this way. Like when you're in the beginning, you need some structure to teach you how to do certain things and kind of learn the ropes and have some consistency and learn what it's like to make progress. After you've been doing it for a while, it can turn into jazz, where now you can just go in and you have all the tools. We've done so many different types of training. We've done powerlifting training, bodybuilding training, calisthenics type stuff, where now we can just like go in and be like, I'm going to do this today. And since we know it, we can just mess around. I want to call it mess around. We can train, right? But get the stimulus we need to progress out what we're looking for. But at the beginning, it is helpful to just do something and learn how to do that program, then go to another program after 12 or so weeks. Have that type of freedom with it.
Yeah, I was in Discord talking about this very thing, but explaining that for me, I look at it kind of like tracking macros. In the beginning, right, you like, okay, I need to track everything down. So like what I used to do is I would input what I was going to eat tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I would have everything so there'd be no guesswork. I wouldn't have to do it as I go, because it's kind of a pain in the dick. So I will actually do that with my workouts too. I will program tomorrow's, or I will have every rep set and weight already programmed for tomorrow's workout today. Mm-hmm. So when I go in there, I don't have to question anything, and I don't have to stop and write shit down, because if I do it that way, you know, especially like with food, it's like, oh, I'll fit this, serving of peanut butter in right now. And then like, oh, what happens at the end of the day, run out of calories or whatever. Right. But if you already have all the food input, you already know what you're going to eat. So I kind of do the same thing with lifting for right now. I probably won't do this forever, but just because I know what I'm going to lift tomorrow, I know what numbers I'm going to hit. Like it's easy. It's already written down. I just have to go do it.
Dude, you got to share that with people. You got to make a post about that. You're writing it down?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Dude. Yeah, I was using Google Sheets, but the fucking app keeps crashing. So I've been like on the hunt for like a decent app. So there's a couple, but they're all kind of dog shit, especially the ones you got to pay for. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. And you know, there was something we were talking about, because like, you know, we were talking about how like, okay, you know, all these people sell programs, but like it's selling a program wouldn't necessarily be us, because we know that there's so many different styles and ways to train. If we do sell a program, we could sell something
that
could
be to help y'all. That's all it would be for, pretty much, just to guide you, because you have asked us for one before, but it's hard for me because I never really believed much in programming. I always just kind of lifted, but I have been doing this for a really long time, and I was very fortunate to have really good coaches who may have been like calculating shit in the background that I just didn't even know about when I was younger.
That's why we kind of just like, we resource it out. Y'all take a pick of whatever you want. I think one thing that we're going to be like, that's going to be beneficial for us is like, we talk a lot about habits. So something that can help you guys with setting good habits as far as your training is concerned and as far as nutrition concerned is more helpful in the long run than just like this is your sets and reps or stuff. That stuff is good though. Don't get me wrong. But the habits that we talk about on the show, nutritionally and training wise, are the things that are really going to help you have long-term progress as far as all of this is concerned. So still a direct answer to the homie that, you know, was asking about the training thing. Find a program you like and then go to Ben's stuff and add in some of the knees over toes stuff, and just stay consistent with that over time. And, you know, you do need to mess with it a little bit.
what Andrew mentioned about writing it down, I think can be really important just because it could pull the motivation factor out of it. I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, well, you wrote down like if you wrote down 5 things that you wanted to do tomorrow in the gym, which I think would be plenty of exercise. You guys agree? 5 exercises sounds like a decent workout.
It's decent.
Yeah. Maybe 8.
Yeah, no, yeah. 5 just
5 to 8 exercises sounds like a decent amount for someone that's new, right? So you wrote down those exercises. The next day, it's let's say it's Tuesday morning and you're supposed to go to the gym and you did so on Monday. You had a normal day's worth of work. And now Tuesday, you're a little bit fatigued. You're a little bit beat up just from that Monday and from the lifting that you did. And you see that you have it scheduled to go do that. How interested are you in your goals? If you're looking at that going, I think I'm going to do that later today. You already know if you're pushing it. When you start to say maybe and you start to say, I'm going to do that. You say maybe and later.
You're fucked.
You're so fucked. It's not going to happen, man. It's probably, I do understand, like there's circumstances, there's things, that your wife says, hey, can you bring, the kid to school or whatever? And there's something shifted your schedule around. Like I get it. Like it all happens to all of us, but you start shifting stuff around, man, and you're really screwed. So try to be protective of those times. I say protect yourself at all times. Keep your hands up. And guard these times that you have. Guard the things that you wrote down. If you wrote that down and you feel like it's in your best interest to do that and it's going to make you feel better, then fucking follow through with it. And so I think that part of it is more important than having like a specific program. The consistency is always going to be the thing that rules everything. The habits are going to be the things that are always going to rule everything. So I think I try to keep that in mind. Because when we talk about like sets and reps and exercises, it's been the same similar things for a really long time. And we've talked about it a ton of times on the show. And I don't think people are that confused about that. When somebody's like, how many sets do I need for my legs to grow? We can get into a giant debate about that. But we could also just say, hey man, you know what? I think if you're new and you don't have a lot of experience in the gym, you got in like 3 to 4 sets of some good leg work, maybe 2 different exercises. I think you're good. That's legs for the day. Right?
Yeah. And don't have program analysis. Like don't. Because I remember this story from years ago. I told you guys about this kid who messaged me. He's like, hey, Nsima, I've been doing this. I've been looking at this program and this program and this program. He named 3 different programs. And he's like, but I'm really looking to gain strength here. And I'm also looking to gain muscle here. And this is kind of what's been stopping me from doing this specific program. And I was like, oh, wow. It was a lengthy message, a lot. And then I messaged him. I was like, okay, yeah, which one did you already do, dude? And he's like, well, I haven't done any yet. And I was like, wait, whoa, you have all these questions about these programs, and I get it. It's good to be curious as a consumer, but at the end of the day, when it comes to your progress in your body, the only way you're going to be making progress is if you just start something. Like you have to start. You can't wait and try to figure out what the best program is, because at the end of the day, if you're starting, any stimulus is going to be good stimulus. You're going to grow no matter what, right? But it's like some people, because there are so many options.
I love this. This is so great. Like, you're all hyped up. You have a program, like you downloaded it or something. You're super pumped. It's on your phone. You screen captured it. And then like you're in the parking lot. You're just about to walk into the gym and start this program. And then you see like Chris Bumstead sharing like some particular exercise. You're like, he looks great. I'm going to try this.
And it's not in my program.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, you're like off doing something completely different. Or you get completely paralyzed because you're like, wait a second, this other guy just said that's not good for your shoulder. I was supposed to do that overhead press. That's not even good for your shoulders. I shouldn't do that movement. And you're like, fuck.
Listen, honestly, fuck people that say certain things are bad. Because if there's anything we've learned after almost fucking 800 episodes from so many different people, there's a lot of fucking ways to gain muscle and a lot of different ways to lose fat. So pick a program that you are personally interested in. No matter what any fucking PT says, oh, that's dangerous and that's not good for you. You can gain muscle more optimally this way. Fuck that.
Being a pussy's bad. Not going to the gym is bad. Anything else?
Honestly, bro.
Anything else, fucking go for it.
Just go for what you're interested in.
Don't worry about how your foot's turned and how your wrist is and all this stuff. Like, just go in there, pick something kind of light to start so you can learn how to do the movement and start doing these movements.
Whatever
There you
you're
go.
interested in is what you're going to stick with. If you're not interested in it, even though it's optimal, you're not going to stick with it. And then like Mark just said, don't the gym is like, there's a big focus on load that you're moving. Just don't worry about loading the bar heavy. Don't worry about that. If something feels too heavy, lower the weight, because ego has injured more people than anything when it comes to this workout shit.
And that's another thing that we learned, right? We know that. We know that we don't. There's not a scenario where I think that any one of the three of us would say you have to go as heavy as possible.
Hell no.
On anything. I don't like to use absolutes, but I would say on anything ever. Someone's like, well, what about if you're a power lifter? I know a handful of power lifters that are still able to do the shit that they love to do because they never went to 103%. They always stayed at like 98, 99. And those numbers represent something fucking crazy where the rest of us are like, oh my God, that was insane. But like Matt Wenning comes to mind. Matt Wenning just squatted 520 for 24 reps. Unbelievable. Did he hit depth though? He didn't go low enough, and he weighs a lot more than Tom Platz, I'll have you know.
Oh my God. That was crazy though. Matt, congratulations. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, that was wacky. Maybe we can watch like a little chunk of it while we're talking about it.
His
But
Instagram, right?
Yeah, his IG.
it's on his Instagram.
On
I think I
yours.
posted it on mine as well.
Oh.
But again, it's like you're going to have a capacity to probably do the weight that you want to do and then some. Matt Wenning's a beast.
He is.
He is. How old is this man now? He's in his 40s, yeah?
Yeah, I want to say for some reason I think he's like a little younger than me, but I don't. It's not much.
Oh man, you need to count them all. Yeah, but did he smile the way Tom Platz did?
No.
Because he did. Then Tom Platz did it better.
Yeah.
Well, look, we know Matt Wenning wore like double ply and all that shit, right? And he did West Side, so he's probably wearing. He's probably wearing some briefs.
He's also squatting a low bar.
Performance enhancing singlet, the ST.
Yep, and he's got the strong knee sleeves on. And he also has the Reebok powerlifting shoe on there. I mean,
Dude.
this is actually, now that I look at it, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Is it really breaking the record? I could do this. I could do this. No, I couldn't do this, actually.
You could probably do this with 700 pounds.
Oh, easy.
With the style that he's using because he's cheating them so bad.
I could, with this weight, if I squatted the way Matt was squatting right now, I could do 520 by 40.
Yeah.
40 reps.
Easily, because I'm cutting depth, man.
But and then also,
Well, your legs
dude,
are shredded, so I wouldn't, I wouldn't put it past you.
here. 2 words: low bar.
Low bar
Low
squat.
bar, dude. Come on, sorry, 3 words.
Obviously cheating.
Yeah.
So I
Obviously
texted Matt about this because on the 24th rep, it gets a little sketchy. And I was like, did you get the 24th rep? And he writes back. He's like, it felt like I got it. He's like, but my knees buckled. He's like, I was dying. And I was like, you going to try it again? He's like, fuck no.
Did Tom Platz have a spotter like that too?
We're just pointing out everything.
I'm just saying.
I don't
think so.
I don't know if he did.
I just don't even know why Matt even bothered. His stance is wide. The bar is low. Right? I mean,
I love picking this apart. It's so funny.
No.
You want to know what weight I squatted for 24 reps? I've never squatted anything that many times.
Same. Me neither.
I don't even know, like on a whim, if I don't. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't even recall ever trying anything for like 50 reps in like a squat or anything like that. I did deadlift. I want to say I deadlifted like 225 for like 50 reps one time, and that nearly killed me.
No spotter holding him up.
He's got somebody, but no one holding
Tom
him.
Platz is way better.
And he has hair. Like I think that's one big thing that's missing from all of this.
Yeah, he's got like golden blonde hair. Tom Platz actually looks like he's cheating though too. He looks like he's wearing a single ply squat suit.
Yeah.
Now that we hold up the video,
He might have been wearing a
Look
squat
that
suit.
up
Who
again.
fucking knows?
But when you were talking about like stuff being optimal and this is the only way you can be doing it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing Doug Brignoli's program right now. But the thing that like I get fucked with is like I have one machine that I really like in the gym and I happen to need a bench. And sometimes both of those are occupied and I'm just like, fuck, what am I going to do today? Like, well, I guess I'll get on the Stairmaster. But that's where sometimes like pre-writing your shit in like will screw you up because you're just like, I can't do what I was supposed to do.
You have different options. You don't have a bench press open, go dumbbell bench.
So that's what I was getting at is like, it's not the end of the world, but when you write it in, it feels that way.
And yeah, that one thing, like, there's different things that'll hit the same muscles, but also, like we just mentioned, if you have a load that's programmed for something, or let's say you decide to work with a coach, and many times coaches will, like, I had loads for clients that they were supposed to do on certain days. Well, if that feels like it could be too heavy, just do a little bit lighter. You don't have to do what's programmed there, because that shit could hurt you.
Why does it sound different when you keep saying loads?
It
It sounds different when you say it versus like me or
it
Andrew.
perked
What do you
my
mean?
ears.
I don't know. It's just like the way you say it, the tone.
Yeah, like a certain load that way you say it.
Yeah,
It
see, I
just-
said loads. It
I said
doesn't sound the
load,
same. It sounds real sexual.
Andrew, do you have the video?
I do.
Mark, don't be stingy. So Mark,
How far into this fucker?
go to just
Like a minute?
go to
Yeah.
a minute. You know, to get a good experience, go to a minute 15. Go to a minute 10.
I'm just
go to
gonna
a minute.
go right here. I'm just gonna
No,
go right here.
go back. Go to a minute 15.
I'm
or a minute
embarrassed
10.
that you guys-
Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought it was.
Yeah. So the top comment when you went on two bears,
Two birds, one stone.
two birds was, hey, Mark, don't be stingy. So my girl watched your episode, and then Sam was like, oh, this is the video that they were talking about, and this is disgusting. Check this
Let
shit
me make
out.
sure I don't have anything else running.
Yeah.
We're good here.
This guy's got nice tits.
He has great tits.
Well, it's normal size. It's not that big.
His dick.
Well, the one thing that I'm going to tell you is that the first time it's going to be quick with me, because it's been a long time.
Oh,
I'll tell you, Tommy Lasorda's falling apart.
Look like Tommy lasagna. Look at those tits.
Los Doyers don't have baseball, so
Okay, you come. Let me see how much you come. Let me see all that come.
internet,
how much,
dude.
how big a load I'm
What
going
is
to
he
swallow.
watching? Or like, what is he doing?
Is he
Watching a
chatting?
guy.
I need it right
he's
now.
watching a guy.
Oh god. No.
I need it
Oh.
right
Oh,
now.
shit.
Okay. Can you see this? Okay, give it to me now. Give it to me.
What the hell?
Come on, Mark.
What are
Don't
we
be
watching?
stingy.
Come on, Mark,
on,
don't
Mark.
be stingy.
come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
Why does that have anything to do with me?
Because they commented, and it was the top comment, and people were going back and forth,
Oh
like,
my God.
because he has more to say. You didn't let it continue to play. He has
good.
more to say, but
we get the gist.
it's a great video. It's a great video.
Mark, why are you so
That guy's
stingy?
really excited by like a large amount of cum. Huh?
Well,
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's understandable.
That
He-
makes sense.
I think also he mentioned something about like, oh, I want to see that inner thigh. Yeah, because I think he was watching some guy on a cam, so he decided to just let it loose.
That guy would probably really enjoy Thigh Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in the shower. Or locker room. In the shower or locker room?
Locker room.
Locker
Thigh Wars was a locker room thing. We never did it in the shower.
Yeah, it's dangerous, right? You might slip.
Oh, absolutely. That's a hazard. That's why you do it in the
careful.
locker room, still naked. But and this is true. We did. But when you shower with other guys in college, you become comfortable
to
with that shit.
strengthen the internal rotation of the hip, right? I mean, that's
Partially, and just to see who has a stronger thigh. Just to see who has a stronger
Strong
thigh.
Hey, now.
adductor, or is it abduct? I don't know which one's which.
we're gonna find out who's got the strongest thighs in this room.
Abductor. Yeah.
You were
abduction.
probably good at it.
I was very good at thigh war. I was very good at thigh war, but I never wanted to thigh war with people who just hung too low, because that shit can get real uncomfortable. If you hang too low and you do that game, then you just got dick flopping on your thigh. I don't want to touch dick. It's just touching thighs.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You know?
Yeah, what a rough battle.
What
just-
was
yeah.
the like studio setup? That's I was always, I'm always like, I wonder what their system looks like. So like boards and stuff like that. Like as far as microphones with Two Bears One Cave. Well, how was that?
Dude, they had so much shit everywhere. It was unbelievable. But it was super organized too. They had, I know we got like a fucking
Couple of things here.
Ouija board thing over there or whatever, all kinds of buttons on it that I don't know anything about that, but like it looked like the Monday Night Football truck, like the truck that they
Yeah.
show when they show inside the truck where they got all the monitors and stuff like
Why
that.
do they need so many buttons and dials?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looked
get
like
it.
that. Like they were going to launch a fucking rocket into space or something. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, a lot of monitors. Really awesome people. Everyone's super happy. The offices were really nice. There was a bunch of different podcasts that get filmed from that same spot, which is really cool. So they had Dr. Drew. They have over there. They have a rapper. I forgot his name. Then they have just like they have Tom's podcast going on, the Two Bears One Cave. His wife does a podcast, I think, by herself. And then she also does a podcast with him.
Your mom's house.
Your mom's house. And then I'm not sure if Bert does another one, but like they got a lot of shit going on over there, man. It was impressive. And I'm really grateful. Like, it's interesting when you reach out to people. Like, I think that maybe people don't have any idea how much rejection that I've faced throughout my life, like trying to communicate with some people and trying to, try to advance my business and trying to do these different things that I've tried to do over the years. Even something as simple as years ago, getting my slingshot onto bodybuilding.com. It took like 4 years. It took 4 fucking years. Like, there was a lot of reasons for it. There's a lot of turnover at the company. To get my patent, it took 4 years. Just to get a relationship with some of these people sometimes is very difficult. I was just super fortunate that when I reached out to Tom, he was like, he knew who I was already, and he was like, he mentioned, I am going to Sacramento, and my wife already bought tickets to go to the show and all that kind of stuff, and then he had time to come in here, and he like actually spent time with us. And what was really cool is when I got an opportunity to talk to him after his show, we were just going back and forth, and I was like, when do you leave? He's like, I'm probably going to leave like late afternoon tomorrow. I was like, all right, well, I'll see you at the gym tomorrow. And he like stopped for a second. His trainer was there, so I put him on the spot, and he's like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. He was kind of like fucked, but he knew it would be a good idea to come in. And then, he did come in. He spent some time with us, and we got to show him a bunch of exercises and stuff like that. And now he's feeling great. He's participating in, the sled pushes and stuff. I had a tank sent his way. He's going to be getting a cold plunge soon. So trying to like just to set him up with stuff that just makes his whole thing a little easier, because he's traveling so much with all the different the comedy tour that he's on.
It's also very fortunate that for him, his comedy hasn't always, like, I've seen some of his earlier shows, like 2010, 2011, where he looked kind of disheveled and kind of like grungy, right? And that look may have been part of it, but like now, 10 years later, he's super cleaned up. He's super well put together. He wears like suits and all this shit. He looks super nice. Him having the funny look isn't necessarily part of his act.
Right.
So it's actually really beneficial for him, because it's interesting, as not just as a comedian, but as a person, when the way you look has been tied into how people view you. So if you've always been kind of the funny fat guy, right? It's hard. Like when you start actually doing things to work on yourself, people are like, "Oh, I want funny fat guy back," right?
They want Fat Mark back.
They want you. You know the amount of comments, the amount of comments that are people are like, "Bring Fat Mark back."
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, like, dude wanted to get a little healthier.
A lot healthier, yeah.
A lot healthier.
It's just being stingy.
Right?
Yeah. I remember this was like a long time ago, but anytime Jay Moore would substitute for Jim Rome on the Jim Rome show. So I used to listen to sports talk radio nonstop, but he would always bring along this guy that he would make fun of for looking kind of like a bum. Ooh. That guy ended up being Tom Segura, and it ended up being fucking hilarious every time. But it's funny because you're right. He kind of evolved, because if you look back at some of his specials, he's a lot thicker. He kind of has that like messy hair thing where it's like, I just cut it and it's just the way it is.
An old looking polo.
Yeah. And
right?
now he looks fucking cleaned up. And when he did get in shape, like, I forgot with what challenge it was, but I remember like Rogan being like, holy shit, dude, like he's getting jacked. Like what's going on here? And it didn't affect his comedy, because he's still hilarious.
He has a skill. Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's incredible at comedy, but it was great to go down to Texas and to meet him and to check out the studio and everything, and kind of just see how he operates, see how he does stuff. And he was kind enough to give me and Ryan a ride back to our hotel and all that shit. So he's just been super awesome with his time, which has been really, really cool. But in trying to explain some stuff to him and having the opportunity to actually work with him and actually meet him in person and to physically go through a workout with him, we were dragging the sled, and I just never thought of this. I just never even thought of this before. I was like, oh, that's going to be cool. I'm going to show him some stuff, and like, this would be great. He'll be able to adopt some of these things, and he'll be able to incorporate them into his life. But as we were dragging the sled, we were doing, it was like pretty rigorous. We dragged the sled for like 20 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And I looked into his eyes, because I do that a lot. If I'm training somebody or working with somebody, I always look into their eyes. I look at their skin color and their tone, and just like making sure someone's fucking safe,
Yeah.
Because I've seen people like fall apart before, and it's like, okay, fuck, man, I'm pushing this person way too hard. But when I looked into his eyes, I saw like drive and determination, that Josh Settlegate look, right?
Yep.
I saw that in his eyes, and I was like, kind of taken back by it for a second, because I was like, oh, he's like rising to the challenge. He's like into it. I'm like, fuck. And I didn't think about that previously. Well, of course he's that way, because how has he been so successful at being a comedian?
Mm-hmm.
He must have the fucking eye of the tiger. He must have the heart. He must have the desire, right? To like want to like do better all the time at stuff, right? And so then I pushed him a little harder, and we did some other exercises. It wasn't a crazy workout or anything. But when we got done with the workout, I was able to talk to him about that and say, like, dude, like you're like right there. Like, this is not going to be hard. He wants to lose, I think, maybe an extra about 15 pounds. I was like, I think this is going to be pretty simple. I think this is going to be pretty easy. You're just going to have to adopt a lot of these principles into your day to day. And the way that you celebrate is going to be kind of changed forever. So when you get done with a show and you go to a restaurant, it's going to be like a little bit more celebrating with the steak, a little bit more celebrating with maybe a different choice of drink, so you're not drinking as many calories. Maybe it's not beer, maybe it's some vodka. Maybe you don't drink that night. Like, do you have to drink? Do you have to drink every night? Do you have to celebrate every time? Because I do also recognize and realize that it's like a team thing. And then he goes to these events, and him and his team killed it. There's a lot of coordination in setting these events up, and then he goes somewhere and there's 5,000 people there, 10,000 people there. They sold it out. He fucking rocks it. Sometimes he does 2 shows in a row. Mm-hmm. He gets done with both those shows. I'm sure he's hungry. Everyone's hungry. Everyone's up, and it's like, let's go celebrate. And it's like, can we manage those a little bit better? And if you can't manage those a little bit better, maybe can you manage all the other time a little bit better?
Mm. I love that. You do this a lot to people where you pull their excuses out. But then something that I think we all do in like just talking to people is like those kind of like when you kind of get them when they're just like, oh, like when you're telling him like, hey dude, like you kind of run the show, like you set the tone. If you order, like a soda instead of a drink, the rest of the crew's going to do that. If you say we're going to go work out at, super training, you guys are going to do that. And it's so interesting that somebody at such a high level like Tom Segura to have him open his eyes and be like, oh shit, like I've seen you do that to a lot of people. And I just think for someone like him, like I said, just to be at that level, to still get that like, oh, moment from you, I think is just like special.
I don't think he's got time to think about stuff sometimes, right? Like he's working, he's doing stuff, and this is their routine. Like what you normalize is normal, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it's just kind of what they're used to. I don't think anybody's thinking like, oh, this is going to be sick. We're going to do a great show, and then we're going to go accumulate a bunch of body fat. Like it's not like a plan. It's like bombarded with stress, overcame, and stress as we know it and talk about on the show. It's not bad. Overcame a stress, calmed down, did the show, killed the show. Everyone did great, and now we're going to go and celebrate. And this is one of our mechanisms to deal with maybe things that were more stressful in the day. Like the real bitch of like alcohol and the real bitch of unhealthy food is they do work really well. Mm. I mean, if you eat a Snickers bar or something like that, really just if the three of us just ate a Snickers bar right now, like it makes you feel great for a little bit. Mm-hmm. You're like, fuck, man, that tasted really good. But it comes and it goes quick, right? Yeah. It leaves as quickly as you liked it.
It bounces.
That fucking feeling is gone pretty quickly.
Unless it's a peanut butter cup, then it lasts a little bit.
Lasts a little bit longer. But yeah, even something like a drink might last for a little bit. But then it also might lead to like a kind of downward spiral or take you away from your goals. Then you're not hitting your long-term goals. You only had some instant gratification.
For any, because like again, Tom's super successful with what he does. I think sometimes when it comes to the fitness aspect of things, because there are so many people in the audience that have great jobs or they're taking care of families and they are so high level at doing a certain thing, but when it comes to their health and fitness, there's like there's a barrier there where it's like, I don't have the time to take care of that. I don't have the ability. I don't have the genetics to do this, or this, right? But it literally just does come down to setting up the right habits in your life for that to happen and giving yourself the years it takes to change your bad habits into good ones. In our YouTube, there's a playlist that we're going to have that it'll literally be up when you guys are listening to this episode. But if you're a new listener, we've done quite a few episodes where we've gone directly into just specific habits that we have that are going to be really beneficial. So it would be good to reference back to those. But like we were mentioning earlier, all that matters is like the interest level you have. Are you more interested in taking care of your health than feeling the way you're feeling right now? For a vast majority of people, the answer is yes. And also one thing you got to remember is like, you don't have to change a bunch of things at once, right? You need to change a few things, let those habits cement in. Maybe don't drink your calories anymore, right? So don't drink juice, don't drink full sugar sodas, don't drink as much alcohol if you can cut that back. Try to get to sleep. You mentioned this during that podcast episode. Eat whole foods. Like there's a few things that can become habitual that can make a change in a longer period of time. But the thing that I would say that should actually encourage you is that, number one, don't expect the change to be fast. Because one thing that discourages people is they start implementing things. 12 weeks later, they didn't make the amount of progress they expected to. Maybe they did progress, but it's not what they expected. And then they stop.
I think people think that someone who's built like you, they think that you don't have to diet anymore. I think they think like, I'm going to get in shape. I don't think that people think they can get in shape like you, but I think a lot of people would think, same thing with money, right? You hear people say it all the time. Why is Tom Segura even bothered to work anymore? Hasn't he made enough money? Or Joe Rogan? And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, I'm sure they could still be comfortable if they discontinued anything that continues to drive revenue. I'm sure that they would be fine. But when it comes to your own body, you don't get like, one person might have more wiggle room. They might be able to afford more things than somebody else. They might be able to do things more often than somebody else, but it doesn't give you like reprieve from like having any rules. You still have rules to your diet. I still have rules to my diet. Andrew's still got rules. Like it doesn't matter who we're talking about. There's some sort of rules or barriers that we have, and there's a lot of habits that we have implemented over a really long period of time. So there's not like you don't get to like a thing, you know, it's not, I'm going to get to this by August 31st because I have a wedding to go to. And then it's just going to be like chill from there. If you do that, you will recognize very quickly that you may have lost the weight. There could be a 6-week program that you did do, and you may have lost 25 pounds in that time, and that's kind of cool. But if you do that repeatedly, you're going to end up with yo-yo dieting. And what happens over a long period of time is, and you'll see this as people get older, like doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. And people they have a harder and harder time losing body fat, and they start losing muscle mass. And it's this weird like thing where you're like, man, that's really great that person lost some weight, but they're not looking so like, fuck dude. Like there's no way to like talk to them about it. You don't want to be like, man, I think that ain't working. You need to like lift. You still need to eat. But people aren't sure how to do it, so they do these crash diets, which can be something that you might be able to maintain for a little bit of time. You might be able to lose the weight, but that's why it's got to be a much, much longer process.
And challenges are good and fun because a lot of those things that people end up doing, it's like, oh, I want to do this 8-week challenge with my friends or this 12-week challenge, right? And then like you change a bunch of things. You start eating way less food. You start running. You start going to the gym 5 days a week. And you do that for a little bit. Maybe you drop some weight quickly, but because you went too far off the deep end, you've gone too far. You may have lost a bit of weight, but you've set up all these things, all these habits that you now cannot sustain, that when you make one mistake or when you start going back, like you just totally relapse. Like you just totally go right back into what you were used to because you set up a bunch of things that you could not sustain for a long period of time. So you go back to what you were used to, you gain weight back, and then you feel bad about yourself. So you even just go way deeper off the deep end and you gain more weight back, and now you weigh more than you did when you started. That's why we're all about what are the sustainable habits? Like, what are the small things that we can just try to build each week? What are some small things that we can get better at? Can we walk a little bit more each day? Can we try to sit a little bit less? So if you're someone who works a 9 to 5, can you get a desk riser that you can put your computer on top of so that you're not having to sit for all those hours and you can stand and sit? Can you slowly get used to that? Because when you get to the end, it's like your life and the way you do things is totally different because you're a person who has totally different habits. It's not just because you started working out a few days a week. It's because there are many things that you've changed over a long period of time. You got to be okay with this taking a while.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard this. I've heard it way too many times, but it's like somebody wanting to get like liposuction. They're just like, I just want to drop the fat, and then once I get there, then I'll just maintain it. But like none of the habits have been put in place the entire life. But the thing about I bring that up because I always reference this podcast that we did an episode. It's titled something like "Your diet didn't fail, your habits did." Oh, and that shit is so it's. I mean, it's going to explain everything I'm trying to explain right now way better because it's the three of us. But like even when I have cut down for like a photo shoot or something, I didn't even realize I was yo-yo dieting because it was like, oh, I have X amount of weeks for this shoot. Okay, yeah, let me do it. And then I remember like the most recent one, which was still a while back, but I was like, oh, I'm just going to kind of hang out here. And I couldn't hang on. Like I lost way too much weight, way too fast. Quickly, yeah. And then like versus now, I'm like kind of just like, I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I'm still kind of trending down towards like trying to lose fat or change my body comp. But it's the habits that's keeping me there. It's nothing to do with like being on a diet or following a specific diet.
Power Project family, how's it going? I want to tell you guys about the legendary Tasty Pastry. And we've talked about Ben & Jerry's and snacks and stuff on the podcast, but those can go against your goals. They can be too calorically dense and they can really make you crave more bad foods. But the crazy thing about the legendary Tasty Pastry is that it's 20 grams of protein and 5 grams of net carbs and 180 calories, and they taste amazing. You guys need to check them out. They have tons of flavors. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yeah, and the other thing, they passed the kid test. Kids love these things as well. Head over to eatlegendary.com and at checkout, enter promo code POWERPROJECT to save 20% off all the tasty pastries, all the nut butters, all the almonds, everything. Again, eatlegendary.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast. Nsima?
Are you farting?
I'm like, what's going on over there?
I'm not farting.
Are you sure?
No, dude.
Oh, man.
Nah, dude. No, I really didn't fart.
Okay.
If I farted, I still wouldn't let you know. You'd smell it. You smell that shit back
Every
here.
once in a while, it gets a little shady over here.
You thought since I was like kind of moving this way, I was adjusting my ass to let it out.
Yeah, I was like, what's he doing?
I'll do that in the middle of the night.
Your eyes went to the side, you know? Like that's kind of seems like you're squeezing one out.
I do have some tells. My tell is like I really focus on you, or I really just that's my like you'll see me like looking intensely at somebody, and the reason why I'm looking at them is just so that they don't think I'm doing anything weird. So I'll look into our guest's eyes and I'll just be farting while they're talking.
You have no idea I'm farting right now.
Yeah. But exactly, it's a good tell because it's not a tell.
That's so funny.
That's sick, man. You got something wrong with your brain, I think.
I do. No, I really do. I really fucking do.
Something ain't right up there.
Yeah. You got to be more sensitive.
Yeah, but on the diet front, you know, we've okay, this is not an original, but like we've said this quote so many times that like people underestimate what they can do in whatever 5 years and overestimate what they can do in one, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is like you want to make all this change in such a short amount of time, even though it's taking you, first off, it's taking you a long time to get to where you are now. So if you're 25 years old, let's say you're overweight, you spent your life getting here. Why do you think it's going to take you just a little bit of time to get to your fitness goal? It's going to take a while. And that may be hard to hear, but at the end of the day, like 5 years is not a long time. If you really think about it, like that shit goes by fast. I can remember 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All of us were in different places, but shit goes by fast. And then if you're a totally different person a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, because you've changed your habits, like that's amazing. And that's not that long of a time.
It might be really hard for somebody to follow any sort of, even if it's like their own advice that they hold on to. It might be hard for people to follow things that aren't challenging enough. So that's an important thing to learn about yourself. Like, what kind of person are you? You know, can you just cut back on soda, or are you more the person that like needs to cut out that entire category? Like you need to just say, like, don't eat any sugar. Each person's going to be a little different. Like one person might be like, yeah, that would be totally reasonable for me to go from having, 5 Cokes a day to having like 2. But for someone else, just to have any influence of that in there might trigger them to make up calories somewhere else. For some people, I've even heard some people, and I think this came from some studies where there wasn't a difference in weight loss when someone switched to a diet drink. Now, it still had to do with calories because the person that had the diet drink was like making up for it somewhere else. So you got to pay attention. You got to really pay attention. Like you got to really know, and you have to learn who you are. And if you are the kind of person that can't purchase certain foods and have them in the house, you have to probably have conversation with whomever else is in your house. You got family member, girlfriend, wife, whatever it may be. You may have to say like, we need to put these foods in like a different spot if we're going to have them for another family member, or we need like, can we make a commitment just to not buy some of these things? So you have to know who you are. And there's like my wife doesn't care about, she just doesn't care about food the way that I do. And, I mean, she like wouldn't even eat like a donut. I don't know why a donut came to mind, but like she could probably, if she wanted to, she could probably cut a donut in half.
Psychopath.
I know, right?
The fuck cuts a donut in half?
That's what I'm talking about. I gotta move out.
Yo, what? That's half a donut.
Well, maybe not.
That just shows she's a true adult, bro. Because like a donut,
I have a hard time with that control.
But that's like the snacks. You know what I mean? I can't fucking have snacks in the house. I will kill all of it. That's why I don't have it there. If I really want a snack, I have to go.
Snacks are funny too, because like a lot of times things come in like individually wrapped things, and you're like, who are they kidding with this?
Legendary?
Yeah, gonna eat the whole thing.
Yeah, dude, those Legendary Pop-Tarts, even though they are great on the macros, like they're 20 grams of protein each, I'll kill the fuck out of them. I ate 4 the other day. The blueberry is really good, and the fudge is really good. Dude, so I had 2 of each with the protein shake.
Have you had the hot fudge sundae out of the microwave?
I haven't done the
hot fudge. My shit, dude. You have to try that. You have to, again, be a little bit of an adult and like wait 15 seconds, put it in the microwave, and then have it.
I think he's going to get some.
What the fuck? He just left. Huh.
He walked off the show.
Maybe he was too offended, but when I said be an adult,
I think he's hungry.
I'm actually pretty hungry too. But what you're talking about is, and then, well, I guess we can wait, but fuck it, is being less fat, right? Can you explain that? Because a lot of people from the episode with Tom Segura, they were really harping and laughing because they were just like, yeah, Bert Kreischer, be less fat. Like, that's a shirt. I want to buy it right now. But what does it mean when you're telling people to be less fat?
This is something I've thought of just from like, here's Nsima with
let me get one of
tons
Sundays.
Of legendary Pop-Tarts. Legendary tasty pastries, ladies and gentlemen.
These are so good.
But yeah, the idea of being less fat, it's like, it's kind of, it should be self-explanatory. Like, you know what you're doing. You know what you did to gain a lot of weight. And what's some of the, like, people, that was a great throw and a great catch.
Really good catch.
That was impressive.
Fucking athletes.
Hey, but real talk though, if that was a football, that would have been nowhere near the same thing.
The catch was so.
We really care about
Andrew was just like,
yeah, the catch was super cash. Like he was just like, hey,
switching cameras in the.
It's like fucking Odell Beckham Jr. over there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he just like randomly just put up his hand and was like, whoosh. Anyway. As we talk about being less fat, these guys are chowing on. These things are amazing. The legendary tasty pastries, 20 grams of protein, I think under 200 calories per.
180.
Right?
180. It's amazing.
180 calories.
You can't find a protein bar with that good of macros.
Great
20 grams of protein, 5 net carbs. Bruh.
And delicious.
So good. Especially after microwave.
So this is a great example of being less fat. It really is. Like, is there like a better option? Is there something else you can do? We just talked a moment ago about not snacking. We talk often about like meals at meals, but I think that if we're being reasonable and we're being understanding of people, like people are still going to snack. We're still going to snack. We're still going to want to have something sweet. We have to kind of figure out a way to hit some of these pleasure sensors in our brain.
Oh, yeah.
And one way to
hit those sensors.
You're eating and breathing at the same time. One reason to do that is just so that you don't go haywire on your work, on your diet. You're going to tend to want to. I've always said that if you are dieting and you end up binging, that your diet didn't work. That's a good sign that it didn't work. So if your diet is too rigid, if you have too many rules, there could be a possibility and that you're going to go end up eating like a fucking entire pizza. So I think, in trying to select which way to eat, there's many, many different ways to eat. But regardless of like the exact style that you selected, whether you decided to do a carnivore diet or whether you decided to go vegan or wherever you end up on that map, we need you to move. I personally think the place to start and the place to kind of finish on all this, when you come full circle with it all, is your output. And I don't think that you need to really measure your energy output, but do you feel good throughout the day? When it's time to exercise, are you motivated? Like if you're not motivated, then you might not have the juice underneath you. You might not have the calories that your body needs in order to put forth a great effort. I know from doing a bodybuilding show that got to be more and more difficult as the bodybuilding show came closer and closer. It was harder to expend more and more energy. You feel like lethargic. If you go on a keto diet and you restrict calories at the same time, you might ditch like 1,000 calories out of your diet and not eat any carbs. And then people are like, I felt like shit on that diet. Well, of course you did. You're asking yourself to do a little bit too much. And so again, I really like to focus on how much energy output can you have in a given day. And one of the reasons why I like to start there, and one of the reasons why I like to think about that is I want you to be able to perform well in the gym. I want you to be invigorated. I want you to feel good. And the only way you're going to feel good is if you have nutrients. And one of the biggest differences between your average person that's not obese and the person that is obese is the person that is obese has a giant surplus of macronutrients, but they're still very deficient in some particular macronutrients, usually protein, and they're definitely deficient in micronutrients because they're not eating the foods. They're not eating a well-balanced plethora of foods. When I say well-balanced, I don't mean like to eat pasta. My version of well-balanced is natural foods like fruit, vegetables, meat, eggs, and that's kind of about it, maybe a little bit of dairy. When somebody eats a well-balanced version of that, you get your micros, you get your macros. It's much harder to overeat when you get to those foods. And for somebody that really struggles with diet, they may have to stick with lean sources of meat as well to keep those calories down. They might have to have leaner sources of dairy even. no fat-free cheese. They might have to go like that deep into
That's my
it.
shit, son.
But again, if you're eating something that you don't like, you might end up binging on food in other places.
Yeah. What I like about the the whole concept of being less fat, it's like, yeah, you can take it on the surface level. It's like you have a Coke or a Coke Zero. Like, be less fat, get the Coke Zero. It's very obvious. But the other part is like, if you're running late every morning, you can be less fat by getting your clothes the night before, meal prepping the night before, whatever it may be. Like, you can be less fat that way, so that way you're not running around trying to catch up. That's what I like about it. Is it implies in everything else, not just food.
Mm-hmm. And one big thing that you were mentioning is like, if you're someone who's been eating like a lot of just low quality processed food, processed snacks, Doritos, etc., although those things are really good, there are a lot of calories and they're not very nutrient dense. All the foods that you've mentioned are very nutrient dense in terms of different vitamins, etc. And because they're nutrient dense, you're going to feel fuller. One big thing with all the foods that you're talking about and all the foods that we talk about is like, we love to feel fucking full. Like, eating and feeling like I want to eat more after my meal I don't feel that way. I eat to fill, right? But I also choose foods, real foods that are going to make me feel full after I eat them. So things like steak, eggs, I'll eat rice every now and then too with my food. But, the foods I eat, when I'm done eating because I have eaten till
Right.
I'm satisfied. But, another thing is I just don't eat all day long. I told you guys I went to Korean barbecue yesterday, and this isn't something I do all the time, but the only thing I had yesterday was Korean barbecue with a few homies. I weighed 245 the day before. 245 was my wake up weight, and my wake up weight today was 255.
Damn, bro.
I'm going to get myself my weight's going to be back at 245 in about 2 days. But I had so much sodium. This isn't something that happens often,
That's so good.
And this doesn't feed into, I don't eat whatever I want either. Because I know when I say that, people like, he eats whatever he wants. I don't eat whatever I want. But I eat till I'm full. And it is one meal. So like, even though it was a lot of food, there was a lot of sodium, et cetera, I am holding in quite a bit of extra water. The amount of calories I probably had was maybe a cool 3,500 in a single sitting, right?
I would also say that like the three of us, I think we do eat what we want. We just don't eat it. We don't always eat it right then. For me, I'll just, if something keeps kind of circulating, keeps, getting in my,
Your feeds.
Yeah. Like it's just in my head for whatever reason. And it keeps coming back, like pizza or something, or ice cream, I'll eat it eventually. But like if I wake up or just have a particular day where something hits me, most likely I'm not going to act on it right then. So I do eat what I want. It's just not when I want, because I know that it's not a great idea. And that's the clip where Tom Segura mentioned, hey, you can indulge. You can. You absolutely can. I don't even know if there's a person on the planet that would say like, you can't indulge, you can't ever. Oh, right. Like, I think we would like for people not to. I would love to have the ability not to do that. But we do it. And why do we do it? We do it because it feels good. It feels like fun, like if I'm hanging out with my nephews, like my kids are getting older, so they don't care about anything anymore. But if I'm hanging out with like my nephews or something, I'm like, hey guys, let's go get pizza. Like they're pumped.
Yeah.
They like to go to like Makuni and shit like that. They like sushi and things like that too, but it's different, right? Like, let's go get ice cream. Like that gets everyone all pumped up, all fired up. And it's kind of nice to be able to enjoy some of those moments with people. But if I restrict here and there, and I have some good discipline, and I'm training and I'm walking and doing all these other things, then periodically when that moment comes, I can go and have ice cream. I can go and do whatever else somebody else is doing if I feel like I even need to. Now, here's the cool thing, that over a period of time, when you start to engage in these disciplines, you don't care as much anymore. You're not like, your interpretation of everything changes. And that doesn't mean that you're the guy whipping out the Tupperware and like, you're fasting while everyone's, eating this like famous soup from this particular restaurant or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Depends on where you go, right? I'm going to go to Ireland later this summer, and I'm going to enjoy like, I don't know, Irish shit. I don't know what's there. Beer.
That is a unique choice, by the way. Why? Ireland. It's just like that seems.
He's gonna go hang out with Conor McGregor. Just say it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my ass kicked by Conor McGregor. No, I just I don't know. I think we've always wanted to visit like Ireland and Scotland and a bunch of other places too, New Zealand and Australia.
Cool.
And so we're not getting to all those spots at one time, but picking them off here and there. So yeah, but anyway, I want to be able to enjoy like what's the tradition? What do they eat here? What do they do here? And I don't want to be like, well, that doesn't really fit my macros, and I'm gonna whip out a scale, or have a meal prep company, send me food while I'm out there that I'm microwaving.
You just don't want it bad enough. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
One interesting thing is that over time, like this is another thing that happens over time, as you start to change the way you eat, things that you used to crave hardcore, you don't crave as much of. And then things like this actually become a good substitute. Andrew, you were mentioning something pretty interesting about how you get like, okay, first off, these taste really fucking good. In my opinion, I could go just crazy with these.
Mhm.
But you said that you gave this to one of your nieces or something, and she.
Yeah, no, it was one of our cousins. I was super fired up because she had been fairly like health conscious in the past, and she still is because she's still in great shape. But I was just like, oh, you got to try these. Like these are amazing. Like they're in the shape of a Pop-Tart. But they're not really a Pop-Tart anymore. Initially, they used to be. But so I'm just like, oh, check out this. Like, it's like a Pop-Tart. Like, just give it a go. Mm-hmm. And she took a bite, and she was actually like having a hard time, like even like swallowing it because she was just like, whoa, like this is not good. And I'm like, no, like maybe take a bite of the filling. And she dug that. But it was just really like it caught me way off guard because when I eat one of those things, like I just inhaled one. Mm-hmm. It's like exactly like your look on your face right now is just like, dude, these are, it's not fair that they have such amazing macros. Yeah. Like I should not be able to enjoy food like this while maintaining like a healthy diet or whatever. Yeah. Like it is not fair. You know, I'm just thinking back like bodybuilders in the past, like, oh my God, like how did they do it with chicken, broccoli, and rice all day? Ew. It's like now it's like, holy shit, like what if you had this instead of a protein shake, which certain like if you have 2 scoops of protein, it's basically the same thing. Well, maybe it's way more protein on the powder. I'm talking about overall calories is going to be similar. So for us, that does taste like a freaking party. Like it is insane how good those are. But if you are not used to eating, you know, for taste, like, you know, it's gonna be a change. It's just like our Vivo shoes, right? Like if you're used to soft, squishy shoes and you put on some Vivos, you're gonna be like, these are not comfortable.
But we still do eat for taste. That's the thing. It's like
that's true. Yeah,
it's just like
we
aren't exactly good. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I worded
say out loud.
Yeah. I worded that wrong, but you know what I mean. Like some people will cook and it's just like, what do these mashed potatoes need? Another stick of butter. It's like, whoa, maybe you could have tried something different, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But you know, the interesting thing is like people still think that to eat like a healthy person, that your food tastes bad or that you don't use salt or like they still think of chicken
like a rabbit.
They still think of chicken, broccoli, and rice. And dog, no.
Or like fat-free mayonnaise and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's fucking nasty.
I don't fuck with fat-free mayonnaise.
No. Hell no.
Because I don't fuck with mayonnaise. I don't
fuck with mayonnaise.
I don't really
either.
get it. I don't know the point of it. Mark. I like how we both looked at it.
Like, do white people eat mayonnaise?
That's like apparently I think that's like the food of your people. So I'm just wondering, can you tell us why you guys like it so much?
What people?
Are you asking me if I said you people?
I view all of us as one.
We're all just I don't see
you
color.
You have eyes and a nose and a mouth. I got all those things, ears, right? A head, arms, hands.
What do you mean by you people?
I'm confused. I'm so confused right now.
I mean,
do white people do different stuff?
I think in Nsima, it was like cold food, right? Like you didn't understand.
Y'all really, that's not.
I don't know why you're asking me.
I never understood cold sandwiches, cold cuts. All my white friends would have like cold sandwiches with mayonnaise, and I'd be like,
I remember you telling me that you
warm it up.
Yeah, you warm up your hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah,
and since that time, I started doing that because I'm like, they're actually way better warmed up.
You just got to be careful because they explode.
Yeah. Wait, I know they explode. Yeah, guys, be careful.
I'm turning black.
You weren't warming up your hard-boiled eggs.
No, I just eat them because they're in the fridge.
Yeah.
You know what? But it does make a lot of sense.
I mean, it's way better when they're done. Like when they're done and they're
fresh.
Warm.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I love
they
eating
stink up the house.
Yeah. But you would totally just eat cold eggs.
Yeah, well, especially like I like the airport or something. I would buy hard-boiled eggs. It's like one of the healthier things that they have. So I'd buy them there and chuck some salt on them and just eat them the way they were.
I think there could be a genetic enjoyable aspect to it because when I think about like when I see shows like Vikings and Europeans, like they're always eating these cold meat and shit. So maybe that's just something that you people have been used to doing for a long time.
White people are weird. That's what it is.
Hey, everybody's weird. Black people are weird. Mexican people are weird. We're all weird. We all have our levels of weirdness, but you know,
normalize weird.
Cold meat.
Normalize weird. You know what I mean? But whoa, what we were saying was mayonnaise. Like the food that we taste, the food that we eat,
fat-free mayo.
Like first, go check out Smelly's kitchen. Like if you go to that channel, you'll see some stuff that you've been cooking up in that kitchen. All of that food tastes good.
It's so good.
It's fat approved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
We made up some meat last night with some marinara sauce, some pork panko, just some Piedmontese ground beef. We used some 96 and some 85, so that way it's just not like all super lean meat. It's fucking amazing. My mother-in-law ate it. Her sister ate it. I mean, my kids ate it. Like, we all like it. And some people chucked some Parmesan cheese in there. Some of us didn't. Like, just kind of depends on like what you're going for. But like, I look forward to every meal I have.
Same.
And one of the things that I use as leverage as well is just protein powder. You know, the Steak Shake, or This Is the Whey Protein, or the Keto Pro. And I've been doing that for years, even before I ever had a supplement company. I've been having protein shakes since I started lifting. You know, I'm probably not when I started lifting, but when I was like about 15. Since that time, even when the protein shakes didn't taste good, I would make them taste good because I would put like milk in there or a banana, or, add some other stuff in there, peanut butter, make it and make it taste ridiculous. So I know Andrew likes the PB2. Like, throw PB2 into some vanilla protein powder, and you're having a fucking party. Maybe mix in your kind of milk. I know some people like almond milk and whatever fancy milk you like. Throw that in there.
Yeah, I've been mixing the PB Fit, the Within You, This Is the Way chocolate, and then because like my son,
that sounds good.
My son, he's been just he loves bananas. It's just super easy. Like, it's super easy to feed him. But what happens is we buy so many, and then it's like, fuck, those are starting to like get a little bit too brown. So like, I would throw an entire banana in there. Dude, it is amazing. I'll use cashew milk because it's super thick. It's so like, it makes no sense how good this shit is. Again,
Ninja blender, yeah.
Nsima has
I'll use a Ninja blender. Yeah,
Nsima has a problem with cashews, right? I remember that. Like, you love cashews, you can't be around them.
Yeah, I can't. I will never purchase cashews to keep in the house.
No,
the actual nuts. Like,
there's no way. Fuck no, dude.
Just gobble.
You would
I'm done.
eat probably like 8,000 calories in just cashews.
No, that's why
easily.
That's one of the habits, man. Don't fucking snack. I don't keep snack foods in my house because I have a lack of self-control with snack foods.
Have you done one of the 10,000 calorie challenges?
I could kill it.
That's what I'm saying. I think you should.
Won't. No.
You should.
That would You see, I'd have
he could do 100,000 calories
I think
in a day.
so.
No, listen.
I could prep for it, dude. Think about it. You fast the day before,
What's
and then
the
you
record?
ease your way in.
What's the most amount of calories someone ate in a day?
Let's Google it.
Guys, you don't understand. It's like number one, it would be a great video. I know I could easily eat more than 10,000 calories a day.
I don't even want to feel it. I just
easily.
want to see it.
Yeah, but the way that I would personally feel, like the next few days, I would just not. I don't like the way I'd feel. So as much as we could do it, like, nah.
I can just picture your mom when you were a kid. She must have been so frustrated. You just woofing down food left and right.
She thought it was me and my sister that were eating a lot of food. My sister would always be, I didn't touch that. But it's just because I was eating all of the fucking food.
This is cool. I Googled it, and the top like entry that came in was a video that I actually helped put together. Was Brian Shaw eating 12,000 calories in a day.
And that was his normal diet.
Yeah, he did that every day.
Yeah, if you're going to be WSM, man, you got to fucking eat. But
yeah.
This was the last thing I was going to mention. As you change the way you eat, you're going to find that the things that you find tasty, because you're not eating all this like processed garbage all the time. And some people like to fit Doritos and stuff into their macros. But as you stop doing that, you're going to find, number one, that stuff like this, and even the stuff we're talking about, because people have probably heard you say, oh, protein shakes. Some people are like, protein shakes are disgusting. You're going to find that this stuff actually tastes really good because you're not bathing your palate in foods that have been made for you to eat more and more and more of.
Designed for you to overeat.
Doritos and Oreos are designed so that you can't just have a few. Like, they're designed so that they melt in your mouth just the right way. Doritos have the little umami flavor.
Why can't it be a little bit more like coming? Right? You know, like it takes you a while to build that back up again. Like you eat one Oreo,
and then you take a nap.
I guess you'd just be like maybe going at it again 15 minutes later.
That would be,
but it would help a packet of Oreos last at least a day?
Nah, this wouldn't work the way we want it to work. Because I was just thinking that would be a great invention if there was like a food that you could eat and it just hit the receptor to make you nut.
No.
No, because then people would just they'd be sitting at home just.
We would have been nutting this whole time.
We wouldn't have this podcast.
I do remember a bodybuilder telling me that like if they had like real cravings, they would just whack off.
Whoa.
Like a food craving. I was like,
Not bad.
really?
You substitute the satisfaction from eating that food with.
We got to ask
just
Andrew
nutting all
Huberman
over the
about
place.
this one.
You're fucking up a lot of wiring there, buddy. You are. Ooh, I want sushi. I'm good. Like, no, you're fucking up a lot of wiring.
Chicken, broccoli, and rice is okay.
That's not healthy.
Trying to circle back to another topic that we started with, but
God.
You guys talked a lot about Bert Kreischer the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But he wasn't there. What was that like? Trying to like
roast somebody that wasn't there. How do you feel about yourself?
Yeah, Mark. You feel like a big man, huh? No.
Well, I never had the pleasure of meeting Bert Kreischer, so but Tom was kind of leading the charge on that, and without ever meeting him, I can only speculate on like how he eats or what his habits are or whatever. But he does talk about it often. You do hear him talking about how much he likes to drink and how his day starts, and he's got like that speech where he's just going off about like him drinking and
I will not stop drinking.
Yeah, I will not stop drinking. And I think like just to be a little bit more serious on that topic, I don't think he has to stop drinking necessarily. Maybe for some people, maybe they would have to. Maybe they would need like an intervention and they would need to stop. And I don't believe that everybody has to stop drinking. I don't believe that everybody has to be on like a real strict particular diet. However, I think that he must know, and people around him probably are generally concerned about like how long can you do that for before the consequences show up more than just body weight. Right now it appears like he's healthy. He's had some blood work done, and when I say healthy, I mean by way of him getting blood work done and doctor visits and stuff. I've heard them talk about that kind of stuff on the show before, and it appears that he's pretty healthy by those accounts. And when you see the guy move around, he looks like he's an athlete. Like
Great genetics.
Yeah, he moves around really well. I saw him like throwing a baseball or something and doing a couple other things where I was like, they say he's really good at like tennis. He's really good at golf, and like, shit, I ain't good at those things. So from that perspective, he's got me beat on those things. But I have heard him talking about and expressing like wanting to be in better shape. I know his trainer a little bit. I know that he has mentioned on many podcasts before that he wants to get in better shape, lose some weight, be jacked, those kinds of things. And so what I would say is like, take that perspective of be less fat, and can you cut back on some drinking, or are there days of the week that you can designate to where you don't drink? I was out with some friends a while back, and I haven't seen them in a really long time, and it was a Friday night that we went out, and my friend had some drinks and stuff like that, and we were talking, and he was like, yeah, it's great to be out, and it's great to have some drinks. He's like, I don't drink that much anymore. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, I remember like the last time I talked to you, I talked to this guy at a party, and he started getting pretty deep into like how he felt he was actually kind of in trouble with alcohol. And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. It's really unfortunate. And he's telling me why he's drunk, And so we're just going back and forth a little bit. And I said, I said, maybe it's a bigger problem. Maybe you need to get help or something like that. I said, but maybe like, what if you just set some rules for yourself? Maybe if you just, can you figure out a couple days a week to not drink? And he was like, yeah, I think so. I can maybe just not drink. Maybe I don't drink during the week. He's like, cause I work anyway. And he's like, I end up drinking a bunch of beer when I get home from work. And he's like, I probably just don't really need that. And so it was amazing going out with him and talking with him and him having alcohol in a responsible way. And then him saying, yeah, man, I don't really, because of our conversation, I don't really do that anymore. I was like, fuck, dude, that's amazing. And he's in his 50s. He lost about 20 pounds. And he said it was primarily just from that. He didn't even really make other changes. But that was also, I mean, this is like probably 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So there was a pretty big time lapse. It probably took him a while to be able to get to that point to where he could say, hey, look, if you're going to drink, only do so. And it's with your wife and it's on the weekends. Because they both like to have some drinks. And I'm like, that just sounds reasonable. So like, what are some things that you can adopt into your life? What are some things that Bert Kreischer can maybe adopt into his life that are reasonable? Like, is it reasonable for him to spend 4 hours in the gym every day and for him to have a trainer and for him to, have this kind of Rocky montage of him just training all the time and eating, really strict and eating like a bodybuilder? Probably not.
Yeah.
That's okay. But he doesn't need to do that. I think with some good effort and some consistency, I don't think it would be that hard, and I don't think it would take that long to lose about 40 pounds. Now, the hard part would be to start to eliminate some of those other habits that you've had that you're so used to just sporadically hitting. Because he sounds like he's the fucking life of the party, that guy.
Yeah.
He sounds like an incredible human being to be around. And so I did feel bad when we started talking about him. He's not there. I'm like, I just want to meet this guy. Like, I just want to give this guy a hug because he's so fired up and he's so excited about life. I don't want to sit here and try to bash anything that he's doing.
That must be that's a very unique vantage point, actually. His vantage point in life, because when you are known to be the life of the party, whenever you go to the party, people are expecting you to perform. Like, you're not just performing on stage. It's like you're at a party. Hey.
He takes his shirt off at a baseball game and the entire crowd goes fucking crazy.
Like that is you. Like, you are expected to show up all the time. So it's like, it's a different type of performance. Like,
I don't know what that's like to be like that.
Right? Yeah. I can go to a party. I'm like, people know I'm chill. So I'm just like, hey. I don't need to talk because, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's wild. But like, I think, for anyone who's listening, we just literally did an episode on alcohol and maybe ways to navigate that. I think one of the biggest things for me, like, I was never a huge drinker, but I did have a phase where I started just drinking a glass of wine every night. But as I learned more about how alcohol affects your sleep, and we already know, all three of us, how important sleep is for recovery and performance and all of these different things, the way you are with other people. Seeing how, you can fall asleep after you drink and you might feel tired, but it'll mess with how your recovery actually is. You won't recover as well as you could. That was kind of encouragement for me to be like, let me just keep this first off a few hours away from sleep, or let me just not fuck with this at all anymore. So I don't really drink anymore unless I'm out with some people or whatever. But I'll know what it's doing to me. I think with a lot of these things, for many, it just comes down to understanding how it actually does affect you. And when you can see how truly negative it is, it's not like that's the answer, but you know what damage you're causing now. Like, you're not oblivious to it. You're not oblivious to the fact that you're not getting as much potentially REM sleep when you're sleeping because of the alcohol in your system. And that's going to mess with you. And when you don't have that, when you are getting better rested and you feel better, you know why you're feeling better. And it's because you didn't drink as much. So, maybe smoke or maybe don't smoke so close to bed. But if you're going out to party, try some Kratom because it has you feel good. You're not drunk or whatever, but you feel good. Maybe try some weed, try something else that may not be as potentially addictive, because we know weed can be addictive, all these things, but these might be other options that might not be as rough as potentially going down the alcohol rabbit hole. And alcohol is one of those things, to be honest, man, where like they're just even a lot of people that are in the research space just tend to see that there is really not a big benefit. Like, you can see all these benefits from psilocybin, from marijuana, potentially from all these drugs when they're used in the right ways. But alcohol isn't one of those things where there's a real therapeutic use, And I'm not trying to be the downer or anything, but it's fun. But that really is all it is. It doesn't seem to be, and people can argue, okay, how about getting you lubed up for social settings? Okay, cool. But outside of that, for your health or for your mental health, doesn't really seem to be a big upside.
What an interesting challenge, right? Like, maybe I realize like what a huge leap it is for you to maybe not drink anymore.
I get it.
But just imagine challenging yourself. Be like, come on, bro. Like, you can't fucking entertain people without a drink. Like, go read a book about it. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, there's books that teach you how to fucking communicate with people. how to start a conversation. You could listen to a podcast on it. There's all kinds of things that you can do to set yourself into slightly different mood. And I think one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show is how are you interpreting your stress, first of all? It is huge, because is your stress a negative thing or is it a positive thing? And if it's a negative thing, then why are you interpreting it that way? And maybe why do these things keep happening to you? Why is there so much negativity? What is the root cause of this negativity? Why or how is it in your life? And why do you have to continue to deal with it? Can you figure out, are you just kind of sweeping your bills under the rug and you're not doing anything you continually spend money on stuff that you might not actually really need? Like you're compounding. I see people do this all the time. They're compounding their stress and making everything way harder. And I get it, because there's like the instant gratification. It's easy train to just hop on. It feels good to go do those things. But I think if you're to really think about it and you really be truly honest with yourself, you're acting like a little kid that hasn't really fully developed your mind yet. How do you not have enough control over your mind to understand that what you're doing is detrimental to yourself, and you continually do it day in and day out? I know that for myself, like I know this because I live in this space all the time. I got a good guy and a bad guy on my shoulder, going back and forth all the time. Hey, you shouldn't do that. Hey, you sure about that? Hey, fucking back and forth all fucking day. And it's not always easy for the good guy to win. But over a long period of time, after training this for many, many years, the good guy starts to win a little bit more. The momentum starts to happen. Things didn't happen with my career, or nothing has happened in my life, or whether it be lifting or whether it be success with business, none of it happened overnight. And so it's been encouraging for me, because I'm like, I have done some things that have made me proud, that have led to some successes. And I'm like, this is the way. This is the right path. You got to stay on it. You got to stay on it. And there's temptation, and there's all kinds of bullshit that's in the way or in the surrounding areas, the noise that's all around you all the time. It's always going to be there. And the more successful that I get, or the more that I start to reach towards my goals, the more that shit will be there. And I have to still see that this is the correct path. Fucking stay on it. Keep going. And that's why I end up admiring some people that we see that are making big successes of themselves. Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, some of these people. I don't know what they do privately, but it appears by most accounts that they have their shit together. And it's really awesome to see, and it's encouraging. It's like these people seem to live a fun life. They seem to live a good, well-balanced life. How can we get other people on the same path? I think, one of the big ways to get there is to figure out how can you mitigate your stress in your day, and how are you taking that stress? Is your defense mechanism for your stress is to go home and drink? It's like, I don't want to place a lot of judgment on anybody, but I don't think that's very powerful. I don't think that's strong enough. How about you go fucking hit a heavy bag for a little while, or you go jump some rope, or run some sprints, or pour some love into somebody else, go take your kid to the park or something, like to go do something cool, go do something. Like, why does everything always have to be like just food related, instant gratification related? Oh man, my day was so stressful. Oh my God, I need a cigarette. I need a fucking beer. That's the last thing that you need. Somebody else would be able to see that very easily.
Yeah.
And you would be able to see that for somebody else very easily if you were observing someone else. You'd be like, motherfucker, that's the last thing that you need. You did that yesterday. And you sucked yesterday and you suck today, and you're going to continue to fucking suck because you keep doing the same thing. It's hard to pull yourself out of it, but we need people to pull themselves out of it. And I think the only way to do it is through having some sort of physicality that allows you to express yourself to mitigate a lot of these stresses that we feel every day.
That's so funny, because I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, what crazy historic heroic journey did you go on where you need to celebrate all the, with all this food, all this alcohol? Like, what did you do? I went to work on a Monday and it was stressful. Oh, all right. So that's where we're gonna set the bar. Like, what happens when you actually do some good shit?
Yeah, was it more stressful than last Monday?
Right. So you see what I mean? So it's like, I forgot who it was, which comedian, but when you say like something was like hysterical, it's like when you laugh so hard that you like lose your mind. It's like, well, what happens when something actually funny happens? You know, you kind of don't have a word for it anymore. So when something really good happens, you just you eat more and you get more drunk. Like, how about we save some of these like things if you are going to indulge for like some really cool shit, you know? Like, I don't know. I have a hard time with like a lot of the like, you know, we've talked about this in like off air, on air about like going on vacation and stuff. I'm just like, what the fuck are we celebrating? Like we still have a lot of work ahead of us. Like I'm not ready to stop. Like I need to keep this momentum going. So when I see that, like, oh, I had a long day, I need a beer. Like, bruh, like tomorrow's going to be just as long or longer. Are you going to do it again? I was like, and guess what? That beer that's going to turn into 2, 3, like that's just going to make the day even worse. Like the reward you get from that is just not worth it, in my opinion.
I know the way that I celebrate stuff with my wife. It's probably the same as you guys did on your 10th wedding anniversary, right?
Yeah, yeah. So our 10th year as a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Fuck it. So we went back to like what we did 10 years ago, which was like these days it's like 1, maybe 2 times. That first night.
Oh, so we were talking about sex.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
we're talking
is
about
this something else
we're talking about
other than
pussy?
That's how we celebrated.
All right.
So I was like, I think.
And if you're single, just buy a fleshlight, but keep on.
No, just we went back to.
I'm gonna celebrate with this flashlight.
But don't do it to porn. No, it was just fucking around. We went back and just like did it like 4 times. So yeah,
So good for you.
Yeah, but it's like it's your birthday, it's her birthday, it's Christmas, it's whatever. Like that's that's for men. That's what we want, right? I don't know about what women want.
Threw out the trash. Like that's all I need is just just make it happen.
Oh man,
you don't need to celebrate with a bunch of bullshit.
No, fuck
just
that.
a little bit of that, and you're good to go.
Just a little bit.
Hey, on a side note, that celebration
a little
aspect is built into fasting. I'm not telling everybody to fast. We talked about fasting so much, okay? Not
We're
everybody.
going to talk about it a lot more.
but straight up, like,
yeah, you want to blow it out, then you can do it that way.
like we work, then I had like I'm tired and I'm kind of hungry. I go home, I have that big meal. That's my celebration. But it's a big healthy meal. So anyway, it's built into the habit.
Is there a rule within that too, or not really? Or for you try to just eat enough protein, right?
If I do one meal, I eat a lot of protein. I won't really worry. The big thing is just keeping it at whole food. If I do have anything that's not whole food, it'll be like a protein shake along with that. But I'll usually have milk. I'll blend in some ice. I'll maybe put a little bit of this carnation malted milk in it, a little bit, and that it really actually just tastes like a fucking milkshake.
What about like eating like ice cream or something like that with that? Was that?
Nah, there's no need because like the food if I do the one meal, when we've both all done one meal a day, like if I eat that one meal, the meat, anything that I have with it, it's good and it makes me feel full. I don't need ice cream. And oddly enough, like don't get me wrong, I love my Ben and Jerry's and I'll have that every now and then. But what I've been doing with the Ninja blender in terms of like 2 scoops of This Is the Way, I do whole milk. You know, because I don't fucking worry about the calories. I do whole milk. I add in some carnation malted milk and some ice. I blend that shit up, and I also put some of that yogurt in. That
oh yeah, the Saint Benoit or something.
Saint Benoit. Saint Benoit whole yogurt in there. I'll put a few spoonfuls, and it tastes like a fucking shake. So I don't like. It tastes really good,
dude.
So there's no need.
So my Ninja blender, those fucking things are so loud.
Yeah,
they're so loud when you have ice.
And mine started making like more noise, and I was like, something's wrong with this. And then Andy went to make a shake one day. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier, Andy is a total madman. She takes off the sides of the tasty pastry and throws it away, and then eats the middle of it.
The middle is really good.
I know. She's a crazy person. Yeah. Anyway, she went to make a shake the other day, and the thing was like smoking.
Dude, yes.
And she went to like taste it, and like something weird happened. I don't know. She like burnt the protein or something. It tasted weird. And so I was like, I think that thing's just shot. We've had it for 3 or 4 years. I use it twice a day, almost every day. Yeah. I was like, I think that thing's done. And I went to use it later, and it was like, I was making all crazy noises. So we bought a new one. This new one has a setting on it that says spoonful. So you hit that setting.
What?
And with ice, and even like it works best with milk, but even with like water, if you just don't use that much liquid, it will turn your fucking shake into something that you get to spoon out.
Hold on.
It
I
is so
fucked up
fucking
then.
good.
What is
Because-
this one?
Yeah, because the one that I
You
all right,
might
go
need
ahead.
to bring it up.
Okay, I'll look it up.
It has 6 different buttons on it. The one I had previously had like 1 or 2 buttons on it. It just went crazy. And it's the loudest fucking thing ever.
How much would this one cost? This is like a Ninja Elite. Like, which ninja
This is another
this?
white people thing.
No.
Oh, it's not a ninja.
No, it is a ninja.
Oh, it is a ninja.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
ninja. But it's
So
like
this one
some
has a
different.
bunch of buttons on it. So let me just see if it's.
We bought one, and one was weird, and one was
Does it
good.
look like that? Maybe no, not quite.
Not quite
That's-
like that. It comes with this like giant like spinner thing. It's like to blend food and stuff too, but I don't really use it for that. But Andy makes like bowls and stuff for Quinn because Quinn's all obsessed with these like
That's
kind of
too
yogurt
cheap.
thing bowls.
Like acai?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Acai, yeah.
It's not it's not real expensive. I don't think. I think it's like a Norma Ninja blend is like about
Just
$100.
$100, yeah.
So this one, that kind of looks a little bit like
This
it.
one has
Oh
an
yeah,
ice cream setting.
yeah. Oh,
It doesn't have spoon.
they make an actual ice cream one.
It has a funny name though. It's called like a creamy.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, I could have went with a different name.
That one looks about right. When you
So-
start to search around, you'll find.
Yeah, the one that so same thing. Ours. So my wife would she'll blend oatmeal for my son to like thicken up his like breakfast like bowls, and it started smoking out of nowhere. Same thing, dude. I'm like, I use that fucking thing a lot, and I use like xanthan gum, so like they're thick like all the way to the top shakes. So that shit's putting in work. It started smoking, so I'm like, well, fuck it. Like we got a new one from Costco. The new one's bullshit. The one that we used to have had like a timer on it to where like you would see how long you've been blending for.
Yeah.
It had multiple settings. This new one, it just has like a dial and it just it fucking sucks. Like,
Return that shit. Costco has
it's
unlimited
Costco,
returns.
so I'm going to. But
Yeah, I have a less expensive one too, where you can just you take the shaker thing and you just put it on there, and as soon as you push down, it just goes like
That's
it's
cool.
and
Yeah, takes
that
off.
one's like simple, but the one I got recently, has those different settings. It had, like I said, it has some sort of like spinner thing, which I don't even know what it's for, but
Yo, these are ways that you can make shit taste real good. Because, like, seriously, when people say, like, when people think that eating healthy tastes bad, no, not the way we eat. Not the way we eat. I can't stand healthy food. When I say healthy food, I can't stand healthy people, healthy food.
right.
You know, the shit you see that
Kale
like,
shakes and shit.
and
Nah,
you,
bro.
And you cook for yourself too, right? Like I think all 3 of us cook for ourselves.
Yeah, I cook for myself. My girl eats like me. She eats she eats like more strict than me, especially since she's
That
getting ready
might
for a
be it
show.
right there. That's it.
Oh,
That's the guy.
Okay. Well, you got a Vitamix. This is a Vitamix.
ah,
Oh, is it? No.
Oh yeah, it's a Vitamix.
Is it really?
Yeah,
this one is yeah.
Yeah, that's Vitamix. They're an amazing brand, but they are much fancier than Ninja.
I don't. But no,
Well, mine
look,
says this
it
one.
says Ninja right here.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
What
so
the
then why does
fuck?
it say Vitamix right
There's
there
some
at the top?
fuckery going on. Look, Ninja.
Oh, maybe Vitamix did. Okay, wait. Take it off. Take it off the screen real quick.
It's a Ninja, dude.
But press X.
you press
Why do we
X.
see Vitamix right? Is
'Cause
that
it's
an
an
ad?
ad. It's an ad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they probably did that shit on purpose to make people think they make good blenders. Because I know Vitamix cannot handle these fucking ice cream shakes that I make. It like burns them out.
So the cool thing about
Yeah.
this one, if you use that blender, the one with the handle, is you can dump more shit in there as it's blending
Yeah.
as well, which is pretty cool.
yeah, I'm gonna buy this one. Fuck that.
Oh my god!
don't
I
like
think
the
I'm
one
gonna
that I
How
buy
much
it
is that?
too. It's
This one,
109.
this one's only 109. They're giving them away.
This is the one you have,
That's the one I have. Yeah,
dog. I might have to buy this.
dude, it turns your shit into kind of like it won't work every time. You got to like get the consistency down just
Yeah.
right for it to like work, but it works pretty goddamn good.
God, what do we do with the one we already have though?
I don't know. Bring yours here, and then I'll return mine. But the thing about like these ice cream shakes and stuff that we're talking about, like this isn't one of those things where it's like you have to like, oh, you got to be into a diet already. Like you give this to anybody, this shit's gonna be delicious.
Oh yeah,
It's really good. It's like I'll say a lighter ice cream, but like not like fucking like the I forgot the name of the brand, not Halo Top, but there's another one where it's just like tasting flavored ice. It's like
Yeah.
that's not that good. This shit's really good.
I put some. I think it's called Catalina Crunch. Is that the
Yeah,
name of the company?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm,
I put some Catalina Crunch
Madman.
cookies. in like so I put the bowl in the freezer
You're talking
for a
dirty
little
to me
bit, and
now.
I put the cookies in there, and it
Damn,
was
that sounds so
stupid
good.
how good it was.
I wonder what it'd
My
be
wife's
like if
always
you
looking at me like,
blended-
"What are you doing?"
You know what I do? I'll
Oh
make.
yeah, breaking this up and throwing that in there would be great too.
That's what I'm curious about. Because what I do is like I'll have the shake and I'll eat like then I'll take a bite of this, then eat more. But I wonder if I blended this into it, how that would taste.
It would
That
probably
should
be.
probably taste fucking good.
It would
Could
taste
be.
amazing.
Oh man,
God, we're
is he less fat?
But
Yeah.
so like the filling on the hot fudge sundae flavor one is
Yeah.
different than the others. But once you get that one hot, you'll be able to spread it on the top of the ice cream, and oh man,
Yeah, dude.
that'll be really good.
Andrew, take us on out of here, buddy.
Alrighty. Please, in the comment section, let us know if you guys checked out the Tom Segura's episode with Mark, Two Bears, One Cave, featuring Mark Bell, and let us know your guys' favorite part of that episode. And drop any more questions in regards to diet and all that good shit down below in our comment section. We would sincerely appreciate that. And subscribe if you guys are not subscribed. And please like this episode if you guys haven't already. And please follow the podcast at MB Power Project on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima, where you at?
Come to Discord. It's a party. More than 1,700 people in there just killing it. At Nsima Ending on Instagram and YouTube. And Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark.
At Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.